Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Ticket to Broadway, please.
Ticket to Broadway, of course. Thank you. Hello, I'm Samuel Taunton. I'm the booking office clerk in Cheltenham Racecourse today. It's a lovely job getting to meet all the people as they're enthusiastically coming here to join the railway and have a lovely day out, going up to Broadway and seeing the sights at Toddington and Winchcombe.
Otherwise, pandemonium, like when you walk upon the sea.
That's why we spread, just in case.
Man, they said you gotta accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with me, steer in between. No, don't mess with me, steer in between.
Welcome to the Gloucestershire Warwickshire Railway 1940s weekend. This is held every year in April at the railway, and this year is 2018. It's a recreation of life on the home front in the Cotswolds, and it spreads across all of the stations at the railway, including the newly opened Broadway station. We've got singers, dancers, we've got a Spitfire that starts up every hour. We've got lots and lots of displays and reenactors. So we hope that people have a really, really good time. Hello, so what have you got on display today?
We portray First World War airmen, so everything that's on show here is related to the RFC, the Royal Naval Air Service, even the German Air Force. So all the bits and pieces are related to the period 1914 really to 1918, but we carry on through into the 1930s as well, because that's a nice RAF uniform down there.
Okay, so can you tell me the story behind
this?
If
you imagine, this is a Lewis gun, and most Lewis guns were mounted on the top wing of the fighter planes of the First World War. Well, early on, Lewis guns were actually bolted to the top wing, and they were normally done by armourers. They weren't done officially, so they were attached, and you couldn't remove them. So if you had a problem, what used to happen was that the guy had to climb out of the cockpit to change the magazine, the pan. Now that pan lifts off. But there was a lieutenant, and his name was Strange. He really was named Strange. He became quite a high-ranking RAF officer later in life. He was having a duel with a German, and they were going round and round, and the gun jammed. So he stood up and got out of the cockpit onto the top wing while he's still flying, trying to get the pan off, and it wouldn't come off. And the German apparently came alongside him and thought it was so funny that he didn't shoot at him. He just watched him and was laughing his head off apparently. He was trying to get the pan off, it wouldn't come off, and he was cursing, and then the plane turned upside down, he fell out. So he's now hanging upside down, hanging onto this pan of this Lewis gun, praying that the magazine doesn't come off now. And the German just flew by the side of him, just laughing his head off. It was really funny. He managed to get his leg into the cockpit, turned it up the right way, and he fell down and landed straight back into his pilot seat. And they looked at one another and they waved and flew off in separate directions, and that's actually a true story.
Oh, that's great. It's a great story. Hello, who are you representing today?
I'm a captain, reenactor.
In the American Army, is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Navy, here for the day with Captain of the American Army.
Have you travelled far today?
77 miles, not too far, in the rain.
Northamptonshire.
And are you here all weekend?
Probably, it depends on the weather.
Marvellous, have a lovely weekend.
Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Brandon Morley. I'm from Derby. I've travelled here by car. I've come to the 1940s event here at Gloucestershire Warwickshire Railway because I enjoy the 1940s. I do a lot of reenactment. I also work at a railway as well, so I enjoy doing things around steam engines as well. So today I'm doing as a civilian, and tomorrow I'm doing Home Guard reenactment.
Would you like a £5 note? So that will get me into the cinema today. Hide your label. Oh yeah. And Monty even.
Montgomery.
No one's too busy fighting.
He's fighting the Germans in Africa.
Yes.
What are you today? What are you doing?
So I've come as a 1940s civilian nurse, so a slight difference between the civilians wore, which is the blue, and the military nurses, which wore grey. So I am civilian today with my nice warm cape because it is rather cold out there. So yeah, homemade cape by my mum. She's a very good seamstress. So it's.
So what are you reenacting today?
1940s, ma'am.
I see you've got a uniform, which.
Royal Navy.
Naval Service.
So are you with the Navy as well?
Women's Royal Navy Service. Wrens.
My dad's sister.
So are you civilians today?
We are civilians today, yes.
I'm the local bank manager, just on my way to work.
Lovely.
And I'm as well.
And my wife is going to do some shopping while I'm working.
You're looking very smart. So where have you come from, and what attracted you to come to this event?
Well, I've brought an exhibit here, an artillery tractor, World War II artillery tractor. So I drove up yesterday from Somerset, spending a couple of enjoyable days here and back on Monday.
I bet that took a long time.
Yeah, about 5 hours. It's not very fast.
No.
I'm Lucas. I represent Royal Warwickshires. We do D-Day +1.
Here at Gotherington Station, which is privately owned, there are a range of World War II 1940s displays, and it's only opened up once a year for this event, so it's a real treat to be here at Gotherington.
Good morning to you. I'm today portraying King George VI. We are travelling up and down on the railway today and visiting a special visit to Winchcombe this afternoon, where we will visit the guides and the brownies who are looking forward. to seeing us, and some presentations to do this afternoon. We're travelling about in cars today as well, hopefully a nice Rolls Royce, which will be nice. So we're fairly busy today, so we're looking forward to it, everyone is. So
Thank you very much.
you're very welcome. I wish you all a very good day. Thank you, madam.
All I only say is it's absolutely wonderful to be on this railway today and see so many people all dressed up and in their finery. And it's very important, you know, because if we don't carry on this tradition, then the young generation will forget all about it. And I'm 143 years old now, so I'm not going to be around much longer. Probably only another 100 years or so. So we must keep it going so that this will be our finest hour.
Yeah. Extremely rude, but if you don't care a feather or a pig.
So what's your name and what are you doing today?
I'm Keith and I'm giving the hand on the pump trolley with Brian and Will. That's our duties for the day. Looking after you lot, make sure you don't fall off the pump trolley.
Yes, you wouldn't want somebody, you know, taking themselves all the way to Cheltenham, would you?
Well, we'd like to, but we can't at the moment, no. It would cause a bit of a problem, I think. Here we go. Your turn now.
I'm here to see the Monmouthshire Constabulary. Okay, I think you need to see this, don't you?
Yes, I shall have a look, check your identification. I presume you're coming because the police have actually sent you to have it checked. That looks all in order. I'll put a few stamps on there now, just to show that you have actually been here and done as you're supposed to have done.
Well, I do like to be good around the police.
Yes, we have many handcuffs. There's also a thing of overstamping, so hence all the stamps all over the place. There you go. You're all stamped up to show that you've actually been in for the day.
Lovely. So security would have been pretty vital in the war.
Yes. Basically, we're on the railway line. We would have tied in with the Great Western Railway, who had their own police force, but their line runs through Monmouthshire and various other areas. We've actually got two lads on the up train, working the trains, checking identity cards, telling them to come here if they haven't been checked. We've got two lads on the down line, working the train, doing the same thing. So eventually the two will come back up here and they'll change over shifts. They'll pop in for a cup of tea and a rest, and then back out on the train and go back up and down again.
So what sort of crimes are you looking out for?
Basically make sure the rolling stock doesn't get broken into, make sure nobody nicks the bulbs off the trains because they've had to fit blackout bulbs, but because of the bulbs are becoming scarce, people are going on the trains and taking them off the trains to take to their own homes because they run off the same voltage. So, there's also spivs we got to keep an eye out for, and they're quite prevalent. They're quite nasty people as well. They are hardened criminals. So don't be fooled by the wide ties and the happy smiles. They are very, very unpleasant people. So don't buy anything off them.
I won't, no. Of course not.
So if you see anything, let us know.
I will.
We will check on it.
Watches.
Just stay still, Bob.
They're quality, they're made in Bulgaria.
Have you got your trader's license?
Yes, I can bribe you if that's what you're looking for.
We only deal in sheep.
Sheep?
Yes. Unless you got a sheep, yes. How did you guess? Unless you got a sheep in your suitcase.
I'm wearing a sheep coat. This is wool.
That's not good, sir. Right, let's go on this station.
Are you going to handle me roughly? I'll go.
Where are we going? Air Raid Wardens. It's a genuine Air Raid Wardens.
Okay, so what is it that you are portraying today, and what's your name?
Well, my name is Colin Haddon, and I represent Northamptonshire Home Guard. I'm platoon sergeant, and here we have a display of communications equipment.
Okay, could you guide us through a few things?
We got the normal GPO telephone, the field telephone there. We have the Morse code tapper, and we've got the field Morse code lamp. And all these are basic Home Guard communications equipment. Also, they used pigeons and bicycle messengers.
Okay, so what's your name and what are you doing today?
My name is Jill Green, and I'm with the Northamptonshire Home Guard. I think I'm the only lady who's actually come with us today. We have several ladies who do come, but I tend to be not quite as particular about it raining, and some of the other girls I think have got more sense than I have. They're a lovely, we're a lovely group when we're out in the summer on a big event. There's 3 or 4 of us, and we all do our best to support the gentlemen in their endeavours.
So what would have been the role of a woman supporting a Home Guard unit in the Second World War?
Well, essentially the ladies didn't fight. From what we can establish, I've actually spoken to a lady who was a Home Guard lady in the war. She came to Papelwick one year, and she said they didn't wear uniform. They generally did sort of behind the scenes administrative tasks, and putting the kettle on and sewing the stripes on when somebody got a promotion, and generally knitting for the troops as well. And then a day there were lots of leaflets available of patterns for knitting for the troops. I'm proud to say I've got quite a few, but I've decided not to bring them out on a wet day and risk them because they are very old and very precious. And I actually knit for our troops. I make them slipovers and balaclavas, and we've actually got an original Home Guard pattern. It's obviously been torn out of a magazine at some stage, and it's actually for a mitten that's that shape, and then that lifts off so that when you've got your trigger finger, you can actually sense it more easily, but then you can tuck your finger back in again to be warm.
Lovely. Carry on down.
And we shall have warm coffee.
Hello, so what is it that you're portraying today?
So today we're portraying the RAF, as you can tell by our uniforms, and what we're doing is we're showing RAF training kind of encampment. So we're doing training in the field, so getting used to being out in the cold and the wet, which is admirably working today.
So what sort of exercises would you be expected to do on training?
I think it depends. We'll obviously be working through some basic drill as well. We're going to be looking at camping, cooking, things like that. We'll also, because we're showing some kind of like general things with the RAF, we're also showing things like some photo reconnaissance. We're also showing the types of ordnance, plane spotting, things like that, because there's a wide variety of activities that didn't just involve flying aircraft.
We also have cannons. They were about a gun platform, the wing was more sturdy.
And they were closer together, so they could
yes, yeah.
range of
exactly. So yeah, then they'd be using them as well. I'm not sure. I believe the S gun on some of the hurricanes. Examples of the trades of the women did, and they did pretty much everything apart from actually fire the guns. The general idea is that the women could replace the men, and then the men could go off and do the fighting. So we can stay on the ground, we can arm the guns, but we can't actually shoot them. The men have got to go off and do that. So yeah, and we did all sorts of different things. Have you heard of Balloon Command? No. Ah, right. So they actually manned these barrage balloons, and they would protect the towns from the low-flying aircraft. So when the Germans came over, they couldn't fly low enough to bomb accurately, and it would actually make the planes fly high enough to put them in range with anti-aircraft guns. So they worked together with the town's defences. So yeah, we had many different roles, and we were very important.
Really important, yeah.
Yeah, and we've got some examples of the different kind of armament here. It's got some 303 rounds, and they're on disintegration links, and they would be 300 rounds per gun, firing at a rate of 1,150 rounds a minute. So
gosh.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of ammo, but then when you've got the amount of time with the rate of fire, it actually amounts to about 15 seconds worth of ammunition.
Gosh.
So in the Battle of Britain, your ammunition is very precious.
Yeah.
So very short bursts. Our cannons at the Battle of Britain were so problematic, we actually asked for our 303s back. So the Germans had cannon, and we had 303s. So when you look at it like that, it's a little bit scary, quite frankly. But by 41, we perfected them. And this particular one's an explosive one. So, yeah. And we've got a working Morse set there as well. So that's basically, that particular one is a training one. So you could practice to get used to the communication side of things. Because our bomber chaps, we'd have 7 crew, well, in the most of the big bombers, and we'd have a wireless up there communicating back and forth. So you might send them a weather report or things like that to communicate back and forth. So that's what that is.
And one more.
Excuse me, Winston. Do you know I wanted to see you in Pride? I've got something for you. I think we spoke about it the other day. Special vintage. I think this is your. There we are. It's a bottle of whiskey. Yeah, Welsh whiskey. It's Welsh whiskey. It's been sampled, and because I have to make sure.
It's like your sample.
It's Welsh whiskey. I have to make sure it hasn't got a leak in it. You see. And would you like a snort?
No,
you're fine. All right. Well, Philip.
Hello, Kurt. I forgot to shake
MP.
You might get arrested.
Yeah, with a bit of luck. How about an undersea ball, Winston? Would that be? Yes. There you are. Look, they're in date, December 1941.
They're very nice.
Yes, they're very nice. Don't have the marble; they last forever.
They do.
Yes.
They do. They are very, very, very.
Undersea ball? No, don't.
I love none.
I might have a cigar somewhere. You all right for cigars?
I'm probably all right for cigars.
I think he's okay. He's still standing there. Yeah. Oh yes, Clem. Stockings. I do have stockings. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. 10 denier, Winston. Look at that. Clemmy would like these because I do personal fittings. If you're not there, I could do that. And they're 10 denier. Look at that. Wonderful.
I'll pass the message on. There's got a ladder in that one.
Is that a stairway to heaven or a ladder in your? Or you're just pleased to see me? I always mix them up. An aphrodisiac there, my filler stand for iron hardness. Fortifies the overfrantic. I'll talk about those later. And yes,
quite enough of that.
It's going to roughly handle me.
I've been waiting to see you.
Yeah, I know. I didn't get a chance to see you yesterday. Hang on, don't lose it. No, don't let it all over the floor. It's going to take.
You're coming with me, sunshine.
Then it's ice creams. That's my other job.
Off we go. Just round at the corner of the building.
There.
Sunday and it's the second day of Wartime in the Cotswolds today, and we're here at Winchcombe. So we're going to see all the exhibits that they've got on at Winchcombe. Hello, now which group are you?
We're the Gloucestershire Regiment reenactment group.
Okay, and do you come here every year?
Yep, we've supported this event ever since its first running, so this is our 5th year of being at this railway.
Okay, and this looks very interesting.
Yeah, the hatchway on the gun emplacements, then round, literally up and in, and you get it so far. Even if you get it that way, that will clear out the inside of there quite happily. German pillboxes, works on a quick release fuse pin. Get close enough to it, pull the pin, close enough to get into the hatchway, through window and run. And hope you run quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So very interesting piece of kit.
We've got an array of live explosives with time fuses, so they're on a link fuse.
Quick line. So, but yeah, it does their job.
Yep.
Hence the long pole, in and out and gone.
But basically, you've caught us today. We're just on the outskirts of Falaise. So we've caught a German position, hence we've got the bunker there and what have you. So we've got some German captured arms and what have you. So we're just waiting now with the Canadians to move up with the Americans to circle Falaise and then move on up, carry on liberation of France.
Inside the newly completed Tim Mitchell building on Winchcombe platform are the World War II RAF Reenactors Group from Worcestershire, and they host a very, very good display of the control room on the south coast during World War II. The lady here is placing arrows and she's got a little board, and that shows us the number of planes in that unit there. And then as she moves them about, you can see how they keep track of that over time.
What I have to say is very simple and quite short. I'd ask you all to remember those of our comrades who fell in the struggle. They gave their lives that others may have freedom, and no man can do more than that. I believe that God would say to each one of them, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant." We must remember to give praise and thankfulness where it is due. I believe God was on our side against evil. Bless you all, and God save the King. Thank you.
This train will take the jokers, this train. This train will take no jokers, no questions.